Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. This past week was a pretty interesting one for Call of Duty. Obviously, we didn't see a huge update go live or anything like that, and we actually didn't see a new community post either. But we did gain a lot of new information on the game via some devs talking about some things over on Twitter and even on stream. So today we're going over some of the major news that was dropped this past week regarding the future of the game, alongside some other pretty interesting intel that ended up surfacing. So if you guys are new to the channel, pretty much every single day I am covering the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, leaks, and all that good stuff. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on to stay up to date with everything there. And of course, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. Also, it seems my friends over at G Fuel are showing us some extra love this month. They have actually boosted COD WARZONE back up to 30% off once again. So until the 22nd, if you want to grab anything there, COD WARZONE has got you covered. Anyways, let's start first today with the really big news that will end up affecting all aspects of the game in some pretty major ways here in the near future. So on Twitter, Captain tweeted at Joe Cecot saying, on a serious note, when is the Grau going to be nerfed? At least 90% of the kill cams are from the Grau. Does that not tell you anything? The Grau is ruining Warzone right now. And to this, Joe Cecot quoted the tweet saying, "We have a batch of weapon tuning in the works for the mid-season update. Patch notes will outline when they drop." So, ladies and gentlemen, we have got a brand new weapon balancing pass coming up soon, and it seems the Warzone meta, alongside the multiplayer meta, is going to be shaken up a pretty decent amount come the mid-season update. However, even though this tweet in and of itself brings us a pretty major announcement, the specifics are not really there. For one, we have absolutely no idea when the mid-season update is going to be. But we do know that Season 4 is currently set to end on August 4th, meaning if Infinity Ward is planning to be right on target with the mid-season update, it should happen around early to mid-July, probably between the 7th and also the 14th. However, just because it is called the mid-season update doesn't mean it will actually fall right in the very middle of the season. If you remember, back in Season 3, we had a mid-season update planned for that too, and that was supposed to bring in the new Obsidian camo and various other new features as well. And we got some of that right around, I want to say week 5, but then some of the devs also referred to a title update that went live on week 7 as the mid-season update. And obviously, in an 8-week season, or I guess a 9-week season by the time Season 3 actually ended, that was not a mid-season update. So just a heads up, even though Joe says that there is a mid-season update coming, we could honestly see this weapon tuning happen in any of the upcoming title updates. And of course, as we gain more info on when exactly this will all be happening, I'll be sure to keep you guys informed. Now, outside of the timing of everything here, we've also got to talk about what this weapon tuning update is actually going to affect. So, seeing as Joe says that we have a batch of weapon tuning in the works, that to me indicates that there will be several weapons that will be buffed or nerfed. And while we obviously don't have any direct confirmations on what weapons will receive some changes, we do have a few pretty good ideas just based off of usage and also overall popularity. So, first and foremost, the Grau seems to definitely be getting a nerf with this tuning update. I mean, it was mentioned in the tweet that Joe quoted here, so that to me seemingly confirms the Grau will be changing. And regardless of how you feel about the Grau, whether you think it needs to be nerfed or not, there is no denying that it is the #1 most used weapon in the game, especially in Warzone. You know, I would venture to say that the vast majority of my deaths are to the Grau. Every pro, everyone going for a high kill game seems to be using it. It is incredibly overused in the current meta. And just hear me out, at least from a developer standpoint, that is not what Infinity Ward is striving for. Ideally, there is as much weapon diversity as possible. You know, meaning you could jump into a game of multiplayer or Warzone, and you would be able to use the Kilo and do just as well with it as you would while using the Grau or the Scar. And same deal goes with the MP5 and the MP7 or even the P90. I mean, there is always going to be a dominant meta weapon, or even, I guess, a series of weapons too, but right now, I think it is very clear that this meta is exclusively dominated by the Grau, the M4, and also the MP5. Those three weapons are on the vast majority of loadouts, I would say, and in multiplayer, the M4 and the MP5 have been the two best weapons pretty much ever since launch, despite each of them being nerfed multiple times by now. So honestly, I could see all three of those weapons being adjusted in some way, shape, or form. As to the actual specifics, whether it's more recoil or worse movement or anything else, that's really just a guessing game at this point. But in order to change up the meta in any kind of drastic way, those 3 weapons would definitely need to be looked at. Then on the other end of the spectrum, what about the weapons that need some improvements in order to better compete? You know, just a few off the top of my head, the P90 and the Bison certainly feel a bit lackluster in Warzone. The Striker 45 could also probably fall into that argument. And in general, I think the Scar could also benefit from having a larger magazine. Now, of course, that's just my personal preference on what I think could help spice things up a bit. But by all means, drop me a comment down below regarding what weapons you think need buffed or nerfed. Now, this past week, we also got some pretty interesting teases regarding the future of Warzone, and I guess more specifically Verdansk, via Taylor Kurosaki. Now, this info is coming from a charity livestream that happened over the weekend that featured some of the voice actors for the main characters, like Jeff Leach and Barry Sloan, and also Taylor Kurosaki, of course, stopped by to answer some questions as well. And his answers definitely provided some very interesting information. Of course, he can't just give things away blatantly, but he did provide us with some pretty spicy teases. So, when asked about the overall state of Verdansk and the various ongoing events involving Al-Assad, Viktor Zakhaev, and just the whole storyline, I guess, Taylor said Verdansk has just begun to reveal its secrets. There's a lot more places to explore, there's a lot more mysteries to be solved. That history is right there, it's everywhere on the map, it's under your feet. Verdansk has a lot more stories to tell. We're not done with Verdansk yet. So, yes, obviously this is pretty cryptic, but I do think there are a few things that Taylor said here that are worth pointing out. So, for starters, this obviously indicates that this Easter egg and this storyline is far from ending. If the secrets are just now being revealed, we've got a long ways to go to really see where this plot is going. So that of course is going to happen in the future, throughout Season 4, Season 5, and potentially whatever other seasons may happen after COD 2020 releases. Now, he also says that there are a lot more places to explore. This I think is a solid hint at both the bunkers being opened up more in the future, and also potentially some new locations coming to the map at some point in time. I would say there is no chance that we go much longer without some new locations being added to the map, and or some current locations being changed in some major ways. So I would expect that to happen as well. Then Taylor also specifically said there is a lot of history here on the map. It is everywhere. It is right under your feet. And what so happens to be right under our feet at the moment? Well, none other than a bunch of mysterious bunkers. One that houses a nuclear warhead, one that houses a giant missile, and plenty more that we haven't even accessed yet that likely hold their own secrets as well. Then Taylor also went on to answer a question about the future of the actual Easter egg itself. He was asked about the various computers and if they'll ever end up playing a part in this. And to that, he responded with, "Computers? Sure, but just wait. We've got some bigger changes and some bigger surprises on the horizon." So obviously, we can't get too much out of that surprises part because they're, well, surprises, that's the whole point. However, changes when brought into the conversation here definitely seems to indicate that map changes are what is being referenced. I would say probably to the bunkers or to the areas around them, but who knows? Maybe we see some kind of malfunction or mishap in one of the bunkers that causes an explosion of some kind that leaves that area on the map in ruins as one of the future map updates. I would say there are certainly a lot of possibilities here, but going off of what Taylor mentioned in this stream, I think we can definitely anticipate some pretty drastic updates happening to the Warzone map as this storyline progresses. Now, when that will actually be though, unfortunately, we're just not too sure, but I do think I've found some pretty interesting info that could help break that down a bit more. So be sure to let me know if you want to see that video by dropping me a comment down below or just by leaving a like on this video. Anyways, with all of that being said, that is what we now know about the future of Modern Warfare and Warzone when it comes to the general weapon meta, and also the storyline and I guess evolution of Verdansk, and that is going to wrap things up for today. As always, if you are new here and you want to stay up to date with the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, leaks, and everything in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on, that way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As I mentioned earlier, until the 22nd, you can actually get 30% off of your G Fuel order by using code IMMORTAL at checkout. So if you want to try a new flavor or restock your current favorite, now is a great time to do so. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.